The Solstice of Heroes, officially rebranded as just the Solstice, has returned to Destiny 2, and with this 3-week event, it is similar to what has come before, and while the EAZ might be exactly as it once was, the grind for the armor has changed up a little bit in the form of a forge and ashen leaves, also just being the thing that is here and no longer being ashen dust. That being said, getting into a Levante, of course, there will always be the seasonal quest, but there is a few different things in addition to the new bow that is here, which is a lightweight void bow, which we'll be going more over that later. So the whole event basically works around the forge, in that you have to do specific bounties earned by just getting silver leaves that will eventually build up to getting all of the alloy required for every individual part. Which, once you earn all of that armor, then you will be able to earn the additional glows. But just as a full disclosure, you can actually visit the Eververse store. And like always with these events, the glows from the armor are there, but if you want the elemental glows to rep your specific factions or your specific subclasses, you can equip these and actually change the color, because otherwise it will be just a flat white glow, which in my opinion is never as attractive as the actual elemental glows. But I digress. So you have to earn the silver leaves. What do you have to do to that? Well, this time around, you literally just have to play anything in Destiny. Quite literally anything: ritual playlists, raids, dungeons, gambit, I believe also patrols and public events, although that has been for prior years. I haven't tested that just yet. But basically, running any activity in the world will reward you silver leaves. Now, this is different from last year, as the silver leaves are almost used immediately, as you literally just spend them on the variety of forge bounties, which come in a variety of elemental, afflictions and requirements, but then also have a variety of rarities. As you can see, there is a basic one that is just using elemental damage, and a bonus progress for a specific element that is rewarding 5 alloy at 1 silver leaves. Then there is a heavier one that rewards 15 alloy, but is a little bit more specific, requiring subclass abilities. And from there is a variety there as well. But there is one mod that I can't see right here, and that is essentially a plus 50 on the alloys. But that is something more unique, where it is essentially doing raids, dungeons. They will accelerate progress, but more than likely you definitely will need a fire team, if not a raid team together, to get it done. Now, that being said as well, if you looked at the variety and saw that there was only the basic blank rarity and you don't want any of that, there is a manual refresh you can take. Now, granted, you can also just grind. You can just pick this, do it, and there will be an additional bounty there already set. But if you do definitely not like anything on the list, you can just refresh it itself and get through all of that. Now, like I said, you need at least 100 to get the armor, and from that point, if you want the glows to make it the fancy version, air quotes, you need an additional 50. Now, from that point, that is essentially the main grind of the Solstice, as Solstice have always been earning that armor is the end point. Now, if you want to grind out gear, there's of course all the weapons from past: the Compass Rose Precision Frame Solar Shotgun, the Crowning Dual Log Strand Precision Frame Tracking Rocket Launcher, and the something new Aggressive Frame Stasis Hand Cannon, which, for all respect, all these weapons are kind of meh. While there is some potency among all of them, I don't think there's any crowning, shining, basically this thing is broken. And there has been some nifty rolls on the Fortunate Star, the lightweight void viced bow that looks just like Tripwire Canary but gold. Now, I have seen some definite things that kind of make it seem like it's worth getting, although at the same time I have kind of fallen out of the like of lightweight bows, so again, it is entirely up to the user whether or not they like these bows. Now, from that point, the Solstice, as the events have happened, if you have not ever guilded the event, this is the challenges you have before you. The first will be the one you get done while you're just, going through the Solstice quests. And there is the Defeat Prismatic Taken in the Bonfire Bash, which will be the Interrupter Takens you will find. Pretty easy to get that, as I'm at 7 of 15 after 2 runs. Defeating Ignition Carriers, which is, again, basically just doing the Bonfire Bash event. Then there is Fuel for the Fire, again, just doing the event. And then there is spending silver leaves to refresh bounties. Now, this is something that will only be needed if you want to, earn the Solstice title as original. So otherwise, you can just, keep buying. Although, if you want to knock out the refreshes soon enough, that will probably be something wise to do, as they always cost 5 leaves. And almost every bounty is less expensive than that. And there's Fuel for the Fire 3, which is Stoking Flames again. And there is a variety of 2 and 3. So this in total will be the last bounty you do. Then with like Wildfire, it is defeating targets anywhere in the system. Bonus progress for defeating Guardians, but that's pretty easy just to do, not even trying. Then there is Superlative, which is defeating targets with super abilities. Now, personally, I just kind of farmed out some orbs and went to the Grasp of Avarice opening. If you get times 10 of the cursed engrams, it will fully recharge your super, so it's really easy to farm there. And there's Burn 'em Down for defeating bosses anywhere in the system. Now, I have only done 2 of the bonfire bashes, so I think it might count like strike bosses, final bosses, maybe more named things, as it seems like only the final boss of bonfire bash actually counted for this progress. Then there is Hard Lighter for defeating targets with basically anything that matches the weapons that are available. So if you have a hand cannon, shotgun, rocket launcher, or a bow, this will work. It doesn't have to be the weapons available from the event though. Lastly, on some of the list, we have Raking the Coals for defeating or completing playlist activities to earn silver leaves. This includes anything like Vanguard Ops, Onslaught playlist, Nightfall playlist, Gambit, Crucible, anything along those lists. Speaking of which, there is also Dare to Dream for running Blind Well or Dares of Eternity to earn silver leaves, as well as Fires of Competition for completing matches in Crucible or Gambit to earn said silver leaves. Lastly, there is the Brightfall for completing Vanguard Ops or Nightfalls to earn silver leaves, but again, all 3 of these are individual respective. You don't need to do it unless you're trying to get the Solstice event, or the Flamekeeper, is that the title? I forget the name. Yeah, Flamekeeper. I think if you want Flamekeeper, you have to do these. If you don't need Flamekeeper, you just want a guild, you do not. At that point, you will unlock that title, and from there is, of course, the Flamekeeper Gilded title, which literally you just have to complete Bonfire Bash in entirety, complete Bonfire Bash without dying, wear a complete set of Sublime armor that is lit up, and completing stuff like raids, dungeons, Master Nightfalls, basically anything that will be labeled endgame while wearing a complete set of armor, and then just making a full set of armor that has the bright glows on it. So keep in mind, buying the engrams or buying the ornaments specifically will not fast track this. You do have to earn the specific incandescent armor that is lit up with the white glow, and you have to wear all of that for this last one. If you just want to grind it out, literally just get the armor, get the glows, and then do these few things, and you'll be quite literally done with Flamekeeper gilding for this event. Now, on that same note, there is, of course, the usual event card in a variety of cosmetics. So just going over the event card real quick, we have the Worn in Comfort shader, which I'm assuming is supposed to be, well, I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be, because the armor I looked at, it looked much different than the Chroma Cloak armor. But then there is the King of the Sea Sparrow, which is actually one of the most unique sparrows I've seen in quite a long time, as it is a chopper-based sparrow, so it looks like you're riding a bike, but at the same time, man, it's refusing to load this time. And it had a quite unique, literal bubble-blowing sparrow trail. Ah, there we go. So you can see it is a full octopus, and it does have a unique trail for the variety. And lastly, there is the Traveler's Prison Power, which is just kind of an emote that is, again, a reference I don't understand, as most of the dancing references I never understand. From that point, there is the rest of what's available in the event card, the Angler Shell for ghosts who gotta be quicker than that. And then there is the Hang 10 emote, which is just, I imagine, you surfing and awkwardly starting the animation both ways. And the Pyrotechnic Entrance, which is a transmat that I'm pretty sure is literally a rebrand of a blue rarity transmat effect. And lastly, a Fireworks Projection for your ghost, which does look nice, but at the same time, it doesn't really match them unless it's the holiday times. That being said, going into the Eververse store, again, as always, as I try to mention with these events, whenever the Eververse is updated with event stuff, it is only available for 3 weeks. Anything in the Solstice tab you can find right here for the event tab will disappear after the next 3 weeks. Same thing for anything in the events tab that you did not claim. Anything you don't grab while this event is active will be lost to time. So just going over some of the newer stuff that I can keep track of based on going throughout the years. Let's see here if I can remember. So the current available armor set, again, is the elemental look right here. This is what the Titan looks like at current, which the rest of the other characters do look quite similar, of course, with their own respective looks to them. So I actually think this one is worth getting, not gonna lie. Then going throughout the last couple of finishers, I believe Splashy Surprise is a new one, which I think is just you throwing a fish at your enemy. I need to actually see that in slow motion. Well, it's hard to say. It doesn't actually show a fish, so I'm not exactly sure. Then we have the Spare Bowl finisher, which is you throwing a bowling ball style finisher, which is a bit goofy in reality when you actually think of it. Then there is a multiplayer emote of the Building Castles, which I believe is actually available for Bright Dust this week, if I can recall, directly. And the lovely look emote, let's see, what will this be? Okay, well, that's just cursed. But then from that point, that is some of the newer stuff. There is, of course, the Beach Day bundle that I kind of skipped past. That is a bundle of a few things that is available. The Surfer's Friend Sparrow, which it seems to not be loading again. Man, sparrows are just refusing to load nowadays. But then there is, of course, the Ramen Shop Rambler, which is a ship that is a mobile ramen shop. Which this ship actually looks just plain great, not gonna lie. If I didn't love my Platinum Starling so much, I would rep that nonstop. Then there is the Sunny Day Shell, which is a ghost that is a little chibi plushy sun. That is quite cute, not gonna lie. And let's see if this sparrow would like to load. I may see if I can revisit it. So from that point, there is, of course, the variety of, ghost shells and everything else. Let's see. I think some of this is the newer stuff. Yep. There is the quadcopter shell, which I know for sure is available for Bright Dust this week. It is basically ghost drone. There is the Midway Goer, which I think is just another what's the word? Golfing sparrow, if it would ever like to appear in court, like the deadbeat dad. Now, moving on from that, there is the Hovering Elaine, which is basically just hang glider ship, which it looks pretty dang cool. I would probably actually wear this if it wasn't for the color scheme that is on there, because I'm pretty sure, its shader's really weird. I probably might have actually picked this if it wasn't for the sake of that weird color scheme that it seems to never die. But then just going throughout, there is, of course, the prior years of a few of the armor sets available for both Silver and Bright Dust if you have any of that to spare. And this is most recent years. While the armor did look cool, it barely glowed at all. That is kind of what turned me off, because what is about these that I like is glowing. This one, frankly, just to me looked a bit ridiculous. So again, I liked the idea, but again, just didn't take it for myself. And then there is the Sunstead, which I forget if I got this one, but I think the last 3 years prior, I just didn't like the idea. I think legitimately the last pack I completely owned was the Solstice Titan bundle from... What year was this? Hang on, thinking, let's see, this year is year 7, that was year 6, 5, 4... This is Shadowkeep's Solstice, so... It was probably one of the last ones that I actually liked. Then again, the lighting does seem a bit weird. However, again, this is just my personal opinion. However, a mistake that I think some people have, the Forsaken and the Year 1 ornaments are not there, which if you don't know what the Forsaken ones look like, these characters right here, these are the ones from Forsaken and Year 1. Well, although, actually, I need to double check the looks, but, just to let you know, there are some things that aren't there in case you are keeping an eye out for them. But the last two things I wanted to cover in terms of cosmetics, there is the Splendid Vidua for the Wither Horde. That is a nice little clean, glistening look in case you like it, although I prefer the Writhing Scream, I think it's called. And Gilded Honors for the Halo Forerunner, which it does slim it down a little bit and does clean it up a little bit, but at the same time, it does look a little bit weird considering it's supposed to be a Halo Magnum that doesn't look like a Halo Magnum at all. And that being said, that is basically all of the basics to the Solstice event. In case you wanted to know anything else, I don't think I may be doing another video. If I find a perfect farm that is different from the usual Lightfall mission checkpoint farms, I will let people know. Otherwise, I will be doing this event very casually, so don't expect many different opinions from me, except this event has officially kind of become mid, permanently, it seems. With that, my name is TheMadScorpyon, and I will see you in the next video.